This depression must be traced to its origin. The origin is the wrong identification of the body with the self. The disease is not of the self, it is of the body. But the body does not come and tell you that it is possessed by the disease. It is you who say so. Why? Because you have wrongly identified yourself with the body. The body itself is a thought. Be as you really are. There is no reason to be depressed. Surrender, and all will be well. Throw all responsibility onto God. Do not bear the burden yourself. First, set yourself right, and only then set out to improve others. Change the hearts of men, and the world will surely change. But one must begin somewhere, and one can only begin with oneself. Prayer is not verbal, it is from the heart. To merge into the heart is prayer. That is also grace. They say that there are many saints in Tibet who remain in solitude and are still very helpful to the world. It can be so. Realization of the self is the greatest help that can be rendered to humanity. Therefore, the saints are said to be helpful, though they remain in forests. But it should not be forgotten that solitude is not in forests only. It can be had even in towns, in the thick of worldly occupations. Do your actions without caring for the result. Do not think that you are the doer. Dedicate the work to God. Whatever thoughts arise as obstacles to one's sadhana, spiritual discipline, the mind should not be allowed to go in their direction, but should be made to rest in oneself, which is the Atman. One should remain as witness to whatever happens, adopting the attitude, let whatever strange things happen, happen. Let us see. This should be one's practice. In other words, one should not identify oneself with appearances. One should never relinquish oneself. It will come right in the end. There is this steady impulse of your determination that sets you on your feet again after every downfall. Gradually, the obstacles are all overcome and your current becomes stronger. Everything comes right in the end. Steady determination is what is required. Self is only being, not this or that. It is simply being. Be, and that is the end of ignorance. Your duty is not to be this or that. I am that I am sums up the whole truth. The method is summed up in the words, be still. Be as you really are. Be yourself and nothing more. Remain aware of yourself and all else will be known. It is enough that one surrenders oneself. Surrender is to give oneself up to the original cause of one's being. Do not delude yourself by imagining such a source to be some God outside you. One's source is within oneself. Give yourself up to it. That means that you should seek the source and merge in it. The sense of I pertains to the person, the body and the brain. When anyone knows true being for the first time, something else arises from the depths and take possession. That something is behind the mind. It is infinite, divine, eternal. Some people call it the kingdom of heaven. Others call it the soul. And others again nirvana. And Hindus call it liberation. you may give it what name you wish. Engage yourself in the living present. The future will take care of itself. Do not worry about the future. You must achieve liberation during your lifetime. Even if you fail to do it during your lifetime, you must think of God at least at the time of death. But unless all your life you have been thinking of God, unless you have accustomed yourself to dhyana of God always during life, it would not at all be possible for you to think of God at the time of death. Thoughts of bondage and of freedom last only as long as one feels, I am bound. When one inquires of oneself, who am I? The bound one? The self, eternal, ever free, remains. The thought of bondage goes, and with it goes the thought of freedom too. One can know oneself only with one's own eye of knowledge, and not with somebody else's. Does he who is Rama require the help of a mirror to know that he is Rama? There is no doubt that the end of the path of devotion and knowledge is one and the same. As the activities of the wise man exist only in the eyes of others and not in his own, although he may be accomplishing immense tasks, he really does nothing. Peace is your natural state. It is your mind that destroys it. Remaining quiet is what is called wisdom insight. To remain quiet is to resolve the mind in the self. Telepathy, knowing past, present, and future happenings, and clairvoyance do not constitute wisdom insight. If the light of the sun is invisible to the owl, it is only the fault of that bird and not of the sun. The world is by nature restless. Begin liberating it from its restlessness. Give it peace. Make it free from distractions. Train it to look inward and make all this a habit. This is done by ignoring the external world and removing the obstacles to peace of mind. What the mind has to do is not to suggest a reply, but to remain quiet so that the true reply can arise.